Hello, folks. Welcome to Between Awesome and Disaster. This is your host, Will Carey. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're doing well, finding some joy, taking some necessary precautions as you do. 2023 rolling on as we march forward. I can't believe it's almost February already, but time flies when things are landing more on the awesome side. As things have been, at least for the last few weeks, especially comparatively speaking, from the last over the holiday season. But I'm feeling good. I'm exhausted from another weekend of venturing out in New York City with my wife. I will let you know today after we record this. I went to MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, for the first time. I'd never been. They have a couple of pretty cool exhibits going on right now. One is specifically centered around the Guillermo del Toro version of Pinocchio. It talks all about has lots of the different sets and puppets and that were used in the creation of that movie. And there's also a pretty cool exhibit on video game art and digital art as well. And maybe this is just because I would not consider myself a visual artist. I've gone to drunk painting classes. I enjoy painting. In terms of artistic intent, when it comes to paintings, I have a hard time if I see something incredibly simple imagining that was what the intent was. And there was this one painting today, and it's a reel on my Instagram that's getting a lot of views right now, where this painting is just nothing but blue. It's just completely blue, blue paint on canvas, on cotton. And I just turn around and say it's blue. And I think the caption said something. I think the phrase was like monochromatic minimalism or something to that effect. And I sometimes wonder what is what is a true artistic intentions, and then what is someone just saying I'm going to paint it blue and use this phrase. But that's the kind of the stuff those are the kind of paintings that I'm very interested in, are like shapes and colors and shading. So I really liked it. So check it out on my Instagram if as well. And the other artists that I have seen a lot of paintings recently, not just in New York but also in Paris, is Mark Rothko, which is most of his work is just, again, would appear very simple or easy to do, but I really like it. Like, it's mostly working in shading and colors and the complementing of colors. And there's just something about looking at those paintings that I find enjoyable, compared to like more what real art people think is artistic. But I also saw Andy Warhol's soup cans. So that was another pretty cool thing. I feel like this year, last couple months, I've done the rounds of seeing in person all of the famous paintings that I saw in my art history class back in when I was a freshman at Towson University. And speaking of art, we're talking music today on the podcast. My guest on the show today is Zac Johnson from Frnd Crcl. He's the guitarist and vocalist. He is returning to the show as well because Frnd Crcl have a new single coming out February 3rd. It's called ADHD. It's going to be available everywhere you get and stream your music, so make sure you get it as well. If you love pop punk and you haven't heard any of my previous episodes with Frnd Crcl members, check them out. I think they're fantastic. And the band has gone through a lot of changes in the last few years, and they've also been putting out a lot of really excellent songs. So I thought it would be a good time to sit down and chat with Zac again in advance of the new single coming out, and how the approach to creativity has changed now that the band is a two-piece at the present moment. So let's get into it, and let's talk to Zac of Frnd Crcl. feel like a lot has happened since the last time we chatted, dude, because I feel like the last time you were on the show, your band was four-piece. Perez Hilton didn't know who you were. Tom was not back in blank, and I had not gone completely broke getting tickets for that tour. So I feel like there's a lot to talk about.
I feel you on all of that. A lot has happened. When was the last time we did this? Had to be like a year and a half ago, maybe.
Something, yeah, something like that. I feel like it's been a while. I think it was like right around the time Complications, I think, had just come out, or it was like just about to come out. And I think that you've had two singles since then. I think Quitter and Life of the Party. Well, four, I guess now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been up in your world, man? How have you been faring?
I've been faring well. I've been super busy with Frnd Crcl and just like committing myself, mind, body, and soul to making new music. So it's been really good, and I think really good for me as a person. So I'm really excited about everything to come.
Yeah, there's something about like when you are a creatively inclined person, and I feel like sometimes it's very easy to kind of get away from like the core of the fun of creating things, but there's just like something like intrinsically wonderful about like when a song really like starts coming together. That I kind of started chasing that feeling in the last few years. Do you feel that like when a song really starts to gel, you're just like, oh yeah,
100%. Like I'll make a song and then I won't want to stop. That's the problem. Like I'll have that feeling and then I don't want to like stagnate, so I'll just keep going, and I keep trying to make something new, or maybe like it can be hard because like you could do that song that's really good and then you write something and then you figure out it's like another song, or you know, you just don't vibe with it in the same manner. But it's all about just like trying new things to keep pursuing that feeling that you're talking about. So I totally get that. Totally get that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like based on like the most recent Frnd Crcl output, I feel like you've been stretching a little bit more in terms of like incorporating different styles. Like you have like very like rap, like pop punk, like kind of rap stuff. You have like more heavier riffs. Like I thought Life of the Party was like a pretty heavy riff for you guys.
It was definitely like the grungiest thing I think we've done. And I even like to this day, like I'll listen to it like, oh, it's so cool. Like I would love to make stuff in that manner even still, but like also that was like a combination of efforts from the four of us, and like now that it's me and Aaron, it's like the sound is changing a little bit, but it's still like maintaining fundamental things that are Frnd Crcl.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you're 100% like retaining everything that I love about you guys, because you guys have come up on my Spotify Wrapped for a couple of years now. Like a lot of your stuff is in heavy rotation on my playlist. But I wanted to ask you, going from a quartet to a two-piece, you're a two-piece right now?
Yeah, officially we are a two-piece.
So like how does the songwriting process obviously it changes when you have fewer members, but have you found yourself like having to like really like work on and different areas of guitar playing or songwriting that you weren't doing previously?
Yeah, and then it's weird because I always wanted to write those parts, or like I always felt like I could. And I know like there's certain things I can't do maybe as well as those other guys could do. Like Adam was a phenomenal bass player. Don was a great guitar player. But I know I'm not like as technically skilled, but I know I can write parts if I kind of apply myself to do it and learn and kind of push myself in that manner. So that's been a fun challenge for me as far as making songs. Like it's not just, okay, I have a solo, I'm going to let someone else figure it out. I'm going to push myself to figure something out. So it's challenging, but in a good way.
Yeah. In terms of like lead melodies and like lead parts, or like those, I love those kind of like little octave riffs you do on Golden. Who are some of like your inspirations, or like who are you looking to for influences in terms of catchy pop punk leads?
I love that you mentioned. I love that you were able to pick out the octave
Uh huh.
thing. So that's like it's just the one thing that makes sense to me when I do it. Like whenever I write something, I go immediately for that like octave, and I try to make some kind of dissonant movements around with the chord progressions.
Yeah.
I would say I get a lot of that from. I think it's hard to pinpoint it in the moment. I like what pops in my head is like the starting line, the
Uh
Wonder
huh.
Years, um, even some Blink stuff. But I think they're more like the plinky, like single note melodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's going to be there is some of that like in this next song ADHD. You're going to hear more of that. But like the octave thing, I kind of use as something to build the body in a chorus, and like if you adjust the volume just right, it makes it so like you can barely hear it, but you can kind of hear like the dissonance in the chord. So that's what I've been aiming to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Create so it's not like completely like pristine. Just like it's a little. Uh,
Exactly. There's a little like something that's it catches your ear, and you're like, oh, what is that? You know?
mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Yeah. Like especially like with Blink, I feel like and I kind of pinpoint it like when Tom switched from solid bodies over to the semi hollows. I feel
Mm.
like Cheshire Cat through to like maybe take off your pants and jacket. He was very much doing this sort of like major scale like ding, 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 that kind of stuff. And then I feel like he got more into doing those like octave runs. And then for me the other big one is I feel like maybe for I think I'm a little bit older than you, but that big octave run in "I'm Not Okay" by My Chemical Romance is like a very memorable part that I think a lot of guitar players point to nowadays.
Agreed. And I've like gone to write a song, and it's turned out to be that song more than once. And I'm just like, man, you guys really nailed it. Yeah, that is a great song. Oh my god.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to ask you because and I want to talk about each of the new songs and kind of this recent transition as well. But I feel like the last time you were on, we did a lot of talk about the Tom DeLonge signatures guitars.
Mhm.
Did you catch the article that he has a new signature for this upcoming tour?
My buddy sent me pictures, and I can't remember it now off the top of my head. You're gonna have to refresh my memory.
It's a Starcat. He has Starcasters now, like
Ooh.
a single pickup version of a Starcaster, and he has four, I think. One's pink, one's gold, one's white, and one's that surf green. It sort of looks like a combination of the
The
Strat
Strat,
and
and
the semi hollow.
I love that.
Yeah, but those were like a weird, like funky Fender guitar. I think they made them to compete with the ES335 with Gibson, but I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah, but the original ones had this like very wide, like ping pong paddle looking headstock. They're very funky looking, but I read an article about them and I was like, oh please make those in production, Fender. I've been like checking. I've been like have notifications for Fender's Twitter set up waiting.
Oh, nice. Yeah, if they make those, I'm in. I'm 100% in. I'm kind of looking for a new guitar at the moment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find something that balances like I guess tone variation.
Uh
So
huh.
I have like a one trick pony guitar, and then I have like a guitar that has so much tone. I just need something in the middle.
Gotcha. And which one's the versatile one? Because you've been playing that Jazzmaster for a while now, right?
The the J Mask is Jazz Master. Yeah, it's one of the best guitars I've ever bought for the price I got it at. You know, I can't beat
Mm-hmm.
it. I love that thing. I
Uh
really
huh.
do. I just want if I could have that with a humbucker, which I know I could do, but I don't want to mess up what it is because I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I want like that with a humbucker, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Jazzmasters like nothing quite sounds like them, even compared to like other single coils. I feel like Jazzmasters are like particularly unique. I played one recently and just loved it. Like I had to like walk away from because like oh, I'm gonna spend a lot of money that I don't have.
I'm going to the music store after this, and I'm gonna walk around.
Uh,
It's on the it's on the itinerary for today, just because we're gonna start doing some shows, and
Mm-hmm.
I need something else. So
Yeah.
I'm in that position.
Gotcha. What's the other guitar you've been using?
I have I think it's a 333 Gibson or an ES 333.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever one they made, it was like a Guitar Center exclusive. It's semi hollow chambered, and I use that on all the recordings for the most part,
Uh-huh.
unless I need a really like grueling rhythm guitar. But I got that like used a couple years ago, and I love that thing. I love that
Uh-huh.
thing so much. It's makes a great rhythm tone, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, sweet, man.
yeah.
So I want to track this a little bit because I think the first time we actually like we had chatted on the show, but then the last time I saw you was at a venue I've now played a couple times over when you were on tour with Goalkeeper for the Life in Slow Motion
Mhm.
tour. And correct me if I'm wrong, was that like your first kind of like larger multi-city tour?
No, you're right. That was our first like actual tour as far as traveling for more than a week
Uh-huh.
and just being out on the road. So yeah,
Yeah, and how is that experience coming into it for the first time? Did it were there things you didn't expect as part of touring?
it was just enough of a tease to where I didn't want to go home.
Uh-huh.
And it was also like, okay, I could see where people were like, all right, I just want to go home. But like,
Mhm.
it was a really good time.
Uh-huh.
As far as things I expected, I wouldn't say like anything negative. I guess it's just like actually going through the parts where it's going to be like more of a struggle. Like, all right, you got to shower in a Planet Fitness bathroom and
Right.
doing all that stuff. But it's a part of the experience, and I'll always remember it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the thing to do. Get the Planet Fitness black card and then shower at their gym.
Shout out to Goalkeeper because that was their recommendation. They're like, "This is the way we do it, and we think you should follow suit." Like, yep, we're gonna do. We're gonna trust you guys on this because they tore a lot. So
Yeah, they really do. I've heard they're hitting it like really hard this year. Now that I wish I met you sooner's out,
hmm
which I thought was great. Great. So you played New York on that tour. Where else did you go? What was like the craziest show on that tour?
oh, the craziest show we played a house in Ford City, PA, which was just in the middle of nowhere. It was like a house show.
Uh huh.
I guess like the whole experience was unique as far as like traveling through the mountains, ending up in like this valley of farmland, and we ended up in this random house, but there's a lot of people there, and it was a good time.
Hmm.
So I would say that was the most unique experience from that.
Oh, that's amazing. I love like little things like that because those are things like you can't like exactly plan for, but
hmm
those end up being just like the most like
Ab-
magical moments.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, dude. So you do that tour, you come back, and then what happens exactly? Because I love Dom and Aaron, but what exactly happens where it goes back to just being you and Aaron again?
We did that run of shows in February last, or was it 2021? I can't. I think it was the beginning of 2022. We
Mm-hmm.
did a string of shows down the East Coast. It was Baltimore. Um, I'm forgetting something. Oh, Fredericksburg and North Carolina. And
Uh
then
huh.
after that, we basically just decided that, or the other guys more so decided that they just needed some time off for their own reasons. So it was
Mm-hmm.
around that point. But Aaron and I were invested in the band in the future, and
Mm-hmm.
we feel like the music isn't over for us, so we're
Sure.
gonna keep on keep on pushing in the direction that we think is best.
Yeah. And then so it goes down to you two guys again. And did you have the songs that you had now ready, or did you just like immediately start like, okay, it's just us now. I'm gonna start writing songs. We're gonna start releasing them.
Well, I guess like in a serendipitous outturn of events, like I did start writing a lot of stuff on my own, especially because we were just coming out of the pandemic and I was taking a look at the trajectory, however you say that. I was
Mhm.
looking at the future of the band, and I wasn't happy with the amount of music we were putting out and how frequently we were doing it. So I just started really delving in. I started delving into like my own abilities and just kept pushing myself to write new music. So I had a couple songs ready, and then like after that happened, where the guys left, and then I really started to go down into the rabbit hole of what I can do as far as
Uh-huh.
songwriting, and I've been doing that ever since, which it feels like something that was completely necessary.
Mhm. Yeah, to just be able to like take on if to be able to take on like additional, I guess, responsibility feels like a weird way of phrasing it, but just be able to have a greater set of tools in the repertoire when it comes to writing songs. And then what was the first song to come out of this new burst of creativity?
I think it had to be 47 because I think that one was a little bit older.
Mhm.
Like that song in itself is interesting because I wrote that back in 2018 and completely forgot about it, and then started
Uh-huh.
like recording demos of it, and I was like, I really like this song. I really don't want to see it not be released. So that
Mhm.
was something. That was probably the first song of this batch, and it's definitely the oldest one. Like everything else is more modern, like as far as when it was written and the style, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that song like I thought was like very of the mo because it has that like super killer like rap part in the verses, and it explodes into this huge chorus.
Hmm.
I just loved it, dude. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, like I was listening to it, going like, did this kid like ever like rap like legitimately, just like full on, like not in in a band? Because like your flow on those verses is too smooth
Dude, thank you.
to have never like done like just straight rap before.
Dude, I've always been a big fan of hip hop,
Uh-huh.
and it's funny because like the more I think about it, I'm like I should incorporate more of that, and like I almost want to try different styles of music also because of that, and like
Mhm.
I don't know, I could talk about this for a while because I used to love like Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa, like
Mhm.
a lot of like the backpack rap era of like 2010. I was into a lot of that stuff. I think it's like something that it hasn't been suppressed, but like I haven't really explored or even like talked about maybe as far as friend circle. But
Mhm.
I do like incorporating that when I can and where it's necessary.
Uh-huh. Yeah, especially because I feel like, and I don't know exactly where that phrase backpack rap comes from, but when you say it, I know exactly what you mean.
Mhm.
Because it's sort of like that kind of the kind of rap that would not be out of place like on a bill with like an indie band,
Yeah, yeah.
if that makes sense. Or even think of, not that this is like the greatest example, but I think of that Asher Roth song that was big for a little while.
I love college.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. There's and a lot of it like Chitty Bang would be a reference I would make, like his album Breakfast from like 2011, I think, or
Hmm.
2010. So good. And like there's a lot of melodic I'd like a chorus structure that is similar to like a pop punk song, or even like Wiz Khalifa. Like the hooks that he has are just so memorable, and like they really caught my attention
Uh-huh.
back in the day. But yeah, man, I would not be upset seeing Wiz Khalifa with Blink 182 or anything like that.
Oh no, definitely not. I could see that working out like really well, actually. Because like I don't know if I remember. You remember the Transplants?
Yeah, I know a few songs, but I should listen to them more.
Because I remember like really liking that album. I was like, I've never heard anything like this, because I never heard of like drum and bass music before. Um, but then I remember that was like right when Travis Barker started showing everyone that he's going to take over like all the drums for all rap in a few years.
Right.
But I remember that first album being just so like weird and wonderful, and of course the that woo woo Diamonds and Gun song. I was, because it was like rap and punk and his hardcore. It was. unlike anything I had heard up until that point. I caught them on Warped Tour that year. That album came out. That was all. They were really good.
Uh, yeah,
Have you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I want to listen to them more now that we're talking about them because like the few songs I do know, like "Tall Cans" in the Air,
Hmm.
it's like it is really cool stuff. I just got to make the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you've ever delved too much into this thing, but are you familiar with nerdcore hip hop at all?
Mm, is that like Logic and stuff like
Uh,
that, or is it?
the Logic might be adjacent, but I generally think like Megaran or MC Lars, MC Chris.
I've heard of MC Lars. I'm not familiar with his music though.
Oh, he's great. I had him on the show many years ago. He's a buddy of mine now. He's a great rapper. Like I love his stuff. Like any album of his you pick will be a good one. I think his most recent one is called Blockchain Planet. But the one I fell in love with was called The Graduate. And that's just like songs about like kind of meta songs about satirizing like crunk or uh uh there he always do like a literary song, like he does a rap version of Moby Dick on that album,
Oh wow,
like that kind of stuff. Like nerdcore is basically like rap with like a lot of like book and video game references in it.
that sounds like something I'd be into, and it's giving me Weird Al Yankovic kind of vibes.
He is sort of like he's sort of like the godfather, I think, that kind of inspired that scene. Like
Gotcha.
it's like they're not direct parodies, but they're very much in that spirit. Like there's a real kind of sense of humor and fun to that music. Um,
I love
and then
that.
the other, yeah, and then the other big one is MC Chris had that song Fets Vet. If you ever saw Zach and Mary make a porno, there's that whole scene with cruising on Fet Spa in my DeLorean.
I saw it a long time ago, so I don't remember it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that stuff is great. So 47, that was an older song, and then the next one was Golden next,
Yep.
and did that come about? Had that been sitting around, or did that come about relatively recently?
That was a recent song, and it was cool to write because Aaron actually came up with the drum beat for the intro first, which
Uh huh.
usually isn't the case with how we write stuff. But he came over and we recorded the beat, and then I started recording that guitar around it, which became the intro. And then it just kind of died there, and we were like sitting on it. And then we revisited it like it was a while later, a couple months, and
Mm-hmm.
we were both just like, "This is really cool. Like, we have to finish this song."
Yeah. And then the chorus came from that. That's sort of like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, that turned into the chorus, and the whole song actually had an entirely different vibe while we were practicing before the studio. Like the chorus was way different, and
Mm-hmm.
then we like, well, I decided to change the lyrics at the last minute for the chorus, and it just flows like a lot better. So like that's one of the cases, I guess, where I'm trying to teach myself like, okay, I can't get too attached to an idea and try something new because it usually turns
Mm-hmm.
out for the better.
Gotcha. And how did the lyrics come about? That I'm very curious what like the inspiration for the words for that song is.
Um, Trying to think of them. It's just like about driving for the most part, and I remember like going for drives with people, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the vibe right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sort of like top down or like windows open, like blast.
Yeah, that's why we were like,
So
all right, we got to get the Mustang for the video, and just like
uh huh.
try to get that feeling going.
Oh yeah, like your videos for these past couple of songs have been amazing. I
Dude, thank you.
I really love the vibe on those videos. Like the whole Breaking Bad thing. Whose idea was that?
Oh, that was the director and our videographer, Trevor Jennings. Got to give him a shout out. He's a
Uh huh.
local to South Jersey, and he does a great job. I mean, he's such like a fanatical idealist, and he'll just come up with these crazy concepts, and I love every like even if we don't use them, I love his energy
Mm-hmm.
as far as like making making an idea come to life, because like he makes it funny and he makes it fun. And I think
Uh-huh.
that's the most important thing. Like I wish we did a music video for this new single, but we're trying to like budget
Mhm.
ourselves as far as being an independent
Sure.
band. Yeah. But we might do it
Totally.
eventually.
Oh, sick,
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, yeah, because and yeah, because I guess you got to think about okay, we'll spend money on this, but we'll save money for that later,
Exactly.
that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Got gotcha. When you're shooting music videos, this is something I've always been curious about because the only videos I've ever done are just like very DIY affairs on my phone in iMovie. Like when you're doing performance shots in a music video, are you like miming along to the track at full speed to get synced later, or is it played at a separate tempo?
No, it's the same tempo. We're just playing right along to it, which
Mm-hmm.
it can be hard sometimes because like the drums are a big thing. Like the drum, you have to look like you're actually playing it, but you don't want to play it and like drown out the actual song, so you lose like where you're at.
Sure. Uh-huh.
That's definitely the hardest part of it. And then like when we did Golden, dude, it was like it was August, and we did it like the performance shots we did outside at like noon, and it was like one of
Uh-huh.
the hottest weeks of the summer, and we had on the hazmat suits and everything with the rubber
Yeah.
gloves and the masks. When I tell you we took the gloves off and the sweat was just literally streaming, like not dripping, it was streaming out of the
Uh-huh.
gloves. Oh my god, it was the hottest, the single hottest like experience I've had in my life. Oh my
Oh
god, dude,
my
it was bad.
yeah. Oh yeah,
It was
that
brutal.
sounds that sounds gnarly. And that was shot in Jersey?
Yeah, it's like right around the corner from where we are, which is in Vineland, and it's just like the Jersey humidity in the summer and like the sun just like
Mm-hmm.
welting down on you. It was amazing how fucking hot it was.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, especially yeah, when you get inland. I feel lucky being in cuz I live close to the water
Mhm.
in New York, so I feel lucky that I at least get a little breeze off of the Atlantic sometimes, but yeah, I know those sort of like stifling like Jersey summers, especially like in the like July August. It's
Oh yeah,
just brutal.
yeah.
Yeah. I also love I'm I because I feel like I'm trying to remember the video, but I feel like it's not too similar to Breaking Bad. They also did that sort of like yellowish color tint that they
Mhm.
do to indicate when they're that TV shows do to indicate when you're in Mexico.
Yes, yeah. That no, we 100% parodied Breaking Bad on that. That was like the main idea
Uh-huh.
and concept.
Yeah. Yeah, that was killer and like all the video game references in the 47 video I loved as well, like you being like a Tony Hawk create a character.
Yeah, that was a good time. It poured that day. We did the shots, and we went to
Uh-huh.
FDR skate park in Philly, and it fucking poured. Like we were messaging people to come out, and I think everybody was just like, "All right, you know, it's stormy. We're not going." But like some of our friends
Uh-huh.
did come out, and it was a good time. Like we filmed in this bowl, and it
Mhm.
had a drain in the bottom. I was like, all right, cool. Like if water gets in there, no problem. Of course, the drain doesn't work, so it starts raining, and like
Of course.
all the water is like pouring off of the graffiti, which
Uh-huh.
is like an oil based paint, so it's slick as hell. We're moving this gear in and out of the bowl. Like it was a good time, but like at the moment, it was like, wow, this is a lot of work. There's a lot of work
Oh
doing
my
this.
oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, it makes you questions like does the shot really need the amp in it? Like I'm not even plugged in. Do we have to lug
Oh yeah,
the
oh yeah,
the AC30 in again?
yep,
Oh, that's gnarly. That's gnarly, dude.
yeah, man.
But it came out looking amazing. Um, I I was really impressed with like the production value on those two videos. Like you guys did a really good job.
Dude, thank you.
Absolutely. And you guys have played live a little bit recently, right?
Yeah, we played two shows in November with In Her Own Words and Capstan and Shallow Pools, Sharia Moore. We were fortunate enough to be thrown on as like a last minute opener for the Zacs. So we
Mhm.
did two dates with them. One was in Baltimore and the other in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
They
And
got
where'd you play in Baltimore?
It was at the Metro Gallery. It was our first time there, and these two were like the biggest shows we've ever played. So it was a great experience.
Awesome. I've heard so much about that place. I went to college in Baltimore, but I don't know if
Okay.
Metro Gallery was around while I was there. Um, Everybody I like plays there. That's a cool space.
Yeah, it was the best like venue we've played in Baltimore so far. So I mean, I think just like I think it's like the bill too, like being on a show with bigger artists, especially like Tree Moore being from the area. So they had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like homies come out to that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah, it was just a good time.
That's very cool. That's very cool, man.
Yeah.
And do you guys play as a two piece live, or do you have people fill in?
No, we have people fill in, and like we had a guitarist, but I think like he just got busy, and I don't know if it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be something that we always do. But we're working on being a three piece right now, and my brother's playing bass for us.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Got,
That's cool.
yeah.
Has he played in bands previously, or is this new for him as well?
He's played in bands on and off, I guess, throughout his life, and yeah, he's like, I guess he's never been in a band like this, and it's kind of interesting. Like, it's interesting and it's funny at the same time because, like, me being his little brother, I like kind of coach him in a lot of ways, but he's also a great bass
Mm-hmm.
player, so he like fits the mold perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, you guys can be the Gerard and Mikey of South Jersey.
Hell yeah, we're the Johansson brothers.
Perfect. Perfect. Um, so the other song I wanted to make sure we talk about is coming out later this week. ADHD is out February 3rd.
Yes, sir. ADHD is out February 3rd. It's
Awesome.
next, hopefully, biggest single. I'm really excited for this one. As far as like the energy, and it just feels like everything about Golden and 47 that I love just combined into one song, and hoping it just does super well. But yeah,
Very cool. And what as a fan, what can I expect from this song?
ADHD is like everything in a university, only like 100 times better. Like there's a lot of hip hop in the
Mm-hmm.
verses, but it's melodic, it's bouncy, it's fast, and then the chorus is just like that rip roaring energy, easy to sing along to, super
Mm-hmm.
catchy, like stuff you hear in Famous, but also has like a bounciness to it. Very high energy.
Awesome, man. That sounds really cool. And uh, the title song ADHD is that biographical?
As far as what do you mean?
Like 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 do you have
I
ADHD?
sometimes I feel like I do. I've never been
Uh huh.
like diagnosed before. I think
Mm-hmm.
Aaron and I ended up having that conversation. He was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do too." But it's like kind of told from that perspective, and a lot of the lyrics, um, I guess, just kind of stem from like points in my life where I've either had someone be like, "Dude, you have like ADD," or like just like things
Mm-hmm.
I've learned about it. So I think it's like a combination of like what it's like to live with it,
Uh huh.
and like one of the lyrics is running out of Ritalin, lost my train of thought again, can't remember anything. I yeah, it's fast like that too. Like it's got
Mm-hmm.
that meter, and yeah, you're definitely gonna like listen to it and be like, oh, like it's literally about that. Like it's not just like a quirky title.
Oh no, totally. Well, I feel like, and I don't know if there's like an actual scientific study on this, but I feel like a lot. I would feel like if ADHD cases like or diagnosis went up, I wouldn't be too surprised because I feel um like not only with how busy American society is, but with the proliferation of technology. And now that I'm starting to see on TikTok, they've started doing these things where they'll have like a random clip of Family Guy and a random clip of something else. And so like the idea is you ping pong back between the two
Mhm.
things. I can't imagine that. It kind of seems like everybody has a little, just a touch of ADHD nowadays. I've felt that for the last few years.
I see what you mean by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what I was gonna say. See, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Right, right. Uh-huh.
I love those videos though. I know exactly what you mean. Like, oh, I can watch this while I do this.
Yeah. Yeah, or sometimes I find myself on YouTube like watching a video and then taking a break to watch a short to there it's I feel like feel like I can feel my brain melting while it happens, but it's like just my natural instincts now.
You ever see the? It's like a meme where it's like humans back in like prehistoric times were the best hunter gatherer society's ever known, and now it's like you're just prescribed with ADHD medication or something. And I'm just like picturing somebody like literally on their hands and knees like picking up like berries and sticks for like kindling and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine like a hunter gatherer just being like, "I'm just going to focus on these berries. I don't hear any large predators. I sense no threats. Okay, now my legs are gone, and now I'm dealing with that. That's kind of how I imagine that playing out. What do you want Friend Circle to accomplish or in 2023? So we've got this single coming out this week. Are there future songs planned for later in the year?
Yeah, we are going to announce a big compilation of songs that are like these
Mm-hmm.
songs are a part of, and we are going to get back in the studio. Like okay, we want to put out these songs, we want to tour, and basically do everything we didn't get a chance to do with Internet Noise because we released it at the beginning of the pandemic. Like we had all these
Yeah,
plans, like okay, we're gonna do a big release show, we're gonna go out on tour, and then they kind of just gutted everything as far as the
yeah,
tour. So what we're aiming to do, and especially after regrouping as a two piece, let's put out this next big batch of songs, make some announcements, get some new merch behind it, do everything right that we weren't able to do because of COVID, and then we are like trying to figure out where we're gonna end up as a band as far as where we're going to end up on the business end of things.
mm-hmm.
But regardless, we're working on new music outside of the stuff that's coming out. And I think just as far as like making, or I guess like writing our own future, like we're just going to get back in the studio as soon as we possibly can and just keep putting out music
Yeah.
as frequently as we can. And like constantly growing and maybe working with new people. So it's going to be a busy year.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. You think you'll work with Tyler again?
I would love to. And at the same time, like even if we don't, maybe like in a one-off thing, we could work with him or work with somebody else. And like, it's weird because like I'm at the point and I trust what Aaron and I can do. I'm also interested in seeing what somebody else could offer as far as like writing goes, or maybe like a different production style.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always down to work with Tyler just because like he's our boy, and he has been like a huge part of Friend Circle for the past. Sheesh, it's been 5 years now. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Absolutely. And for as far as like touring goes, are you imagining like a couple weeks on the road like opening for bands? Like cuz I feel like you guys are at the point like there's a certain level of like you're not an unknown quantity. So what goes into like the planning as far as how shows happen, especially with like at this level and with like the very like still real specter of the pandemic.
um, we are going to be announcing some shows with some bigger artists already, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, I don't know, it's definitely going to be cool to be able to do that, and like doing a headlining tour for the album at our stage also just feels like we have to do it, but it also feels like, okay, it's not going to be as good as these other shows with these bigger artists that are well known. So like it's kind of finding that happy medium. I would like to go on the road for like a couple weeks at least and just, show that we're putting
Mm-hmm.
in the effort. Like, yeah, we want to push our music and we want to try to like fill out as many venues as we possibly can.
Yeah.
But like it'd be weird, like, hey, can we tag along on your tour to push our album release? Like if it happens, then we're gonna do it, as far as like pushing our new music and,
Yeah.
fortunately being on these shows with these bigger artists with a good draw. But as far as like setting up our own thing, we're going to try to do it. We're going to do it as best as we can. And who knows? We'll see what happens.
Well, awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to hear more about it, and I can't wait to hear the new song. And if you pass through New York, I'll definitely be there. So I'm looking forward to that. What else can we plug before we get out here?
Um, Well, we got the new song coming out February 3rd. We talked about that. Just me to you. We will be in New York soon because we have yet to announce. We have
Nice.
yet to announce it, but that's one of the shows we're doing with this bigger artist. I wish I could say more because like we do have a big project coming out, but it's not ready and we haven't announced it yet. But like I also don't care
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, so like I might as well just tell you like we have an album coming out, but we don't have the details yet. So
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear that. I'll have Aaron back on. We'll talk about it when it's finalized.
There you go. I like that plan. I'll let him deal with it at that point.
Killer, man. Well, dude, this is great to chat with you as always. Looking forward to the new stuff, and also you and your lady were great in Goalkeeper's Sooner video.
Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing this again. I really appreciate it.
Dude, of course. I'm always happy to do it. And, if you want me to do it again in a certain amount of time, maybe we'll have a new guitar to talk about as far as Tom DeLonge goes, or maybe it'll be after the shows. Are you going to the tour? Or,
yes.
Nice.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm hitting. I got in early, lucky enough, and also because my wife loves me, I'm hitting up the 2 of the New York shows.
Oh wow, you're going to 2? That's awesome, dude.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to Barclays and the Garden.
Nice, yeah. I'm going to Hershey Stadium, so I'll be at that one.
Nice. Well, we'll have to reconvene and talk about how we felt about the shows.
I would love that. Let's do it.
Sounds good, man. Thanks again.
Of course, man. Have a good day.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is Zac from Frnd Crcl. Frnd Crcl's new single ADHD is available everywhere that you get your music. Friday, February 3rd. So if you're listening to this after, you can check out ADHD everywhere you get your music. And again, Frnd Crcl spelled FRND CRCL. So all the vowels are taking out. And I briefly mentioned that Perez Hilton tweeted about them a while back. That was a really cool thing to see. So get on with Frnd Crcl's upcoming releases because I really like them and they're really nice guys, and I want to see them do well. So thank you all again so much for being here. That is the show. If you enjoyed this and think you know a friend who would be interested in this podcast, I have over 300 episodes. I'll say we because I do this with the guests and with you. So I'm just kind of like the overseer. So we have 300 other episodes of Between Awesome and Disaster for you to enjoy. You can find links at awesomedisaster.com. That has links to Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify. If you want to give us a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll help us please our algorithmic overlords. And you can give us a follow on Stitcher and Spotify. And I'm also Will Carey 23 on Instagram, at Comic Will Carey on Twitter. And I'm still on Hive at Will Carey. I don't know how long those Twitter alternatives are going to stick around, but you can follow me on Hive at Will Carey as well, for the one person who might want to do that. And if you want to go a little bit further in your support of the show, you can find links to our merch shop as well as our Patreon, which is patreon.com/awesomedisaster. I want to get some new merch available soon, so maybe so keep your eyes peeled again at awesomedisaster.com for that as well. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want somebody to be on the show, let them know this is a cool show, because I would love to chat with cool people about cool things. So thank you all again so much for being here, and I will see you next time Between Awesome and Disaster. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaxxed and boosted, and stomp out fascism. Take care, everybody.